Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are back with another CAS video, and this CAS video is going along with our spooky themes of the week. And so I decided to create the Charmed Sisters, aka the Halliwell Sisters, because last week we created the Halliwell Manor, so I figured we might as well create the sisters to actually live in it. And I did create all 4 sisters because if you know the show, it's, you know, the power of 3, so there's only supposed to really be 3 sisters at a time. And, you know, Peru, spoiler alert for people, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Charmed, Peru does die in season 3. And so enter Paige, their half-sister, who is half Whitelighter, half witch, which Whitelighters are kind of like angels in a way, kind of, sort of. But anyways, I created all 4 of them, you know, so, you know, because, you know, you have to represent all of the sisters. Even though I personally grew up more so watching, you know, the sisters with Paige more than Peru, but like I've watched the whole series multiple times, so it doesn't really matter. But anyways, moving on to the actual cast is first I did, I should say, you know, I'm one person. First I did Prudence Halliwell, aka Peru. Not many people call her Prudence, but that's her official name. I was really nervous creating the Charmed Sisters because I just tried to avoid creating like Sims based off of real people, just because I'm not the best, and you know, I try my best, but I'm not the best. So, but I think this, at least Peru, I think turned out the best. I honestly was like very impressed with myself when it came to Peru. I think she looks pretty similar to like what she looks like in real life. But in real life, you know, she has like the dark hair. I think she has like the darkest hairs of all the sisters. Hers is like honestly like more of a black, so that's what I went with. And then she has like greenish, bluey kind of eyes, so that's what I went with. And for each sister, I kind of looked through like the different outfits and different styles that they would wear throughout the show. And with Peru, she does frequently wear a nice little leather jacket, so that's kind of what I went with for her. And it was also a little bit harder too because this show was in the early 2000s, and I don't think there's a lot of, I know Y2K is coming back in, the Y2K style and everything, but still, like, I don't think there's that many Y2K kind of vibe pieces in The Sims, even with my CC, but I think I kind of pulled it off pretty well. But Peru, she is also like the eldest sister, so she had a lot of the responsibility on her shoulders. So she got really into the witchiness too. So I gave her like traits and the aspiration to kind of like suit that and whatnot. And she was also a like archaeology kind of museum-y person. I don't know the proper terminology, but that's what she did. So that's what I went with for that. And then we have Piper. Piper, honestly, she's my fave. I love Piper. She was always my favorite. I also really loved Leo. So, I mean, that's probably why I also loved Piper a lot too. But Piper, she is the second sister. She is like the middle child. So, you know, she had to be in between a lot of the fights and stuff between Peru and the OG younger sister Phoebe and everything. And so, you know, Piper, you know, she's just a special gal, you know. But anyways, she is also an aspiring chef. I think by the end of the series she does actually open up her own restaurant, but you know, it was a little bit of a struggle to get there. But she is a good cook and everything. So I tried to kind of do traits and likes and stuff for that for her as well. And Piper, her look anyways is like, she has like brown eyes, and her eyes actually have like a little bit of like a reddish tint to them. So I tried to get that in there. And then she also has like darker brown hair. Piper, honestly, she's my favorite sister, so I was really disappointed in myself because I don't think she looks like exactly how, or like, I think I could have maybe done better, but I really tried. I had spent a long time on Piper, but I just couldn't get it down like the best way possible, so I was a little disappointed, but I think she still looks decent. I think honestly it was the hair. Piper has very like, her hair is like really chill, like straightish, wavy-ish, and it's kind of just like there. It's, you know, it's like she doesn't really do much with it, and it's like a middle part kind of situation, but it looks good. But like I couldn't find anything like that in game, even with all of my CC and everything. And it's also like a certain length. It's like just below her shoulders. I don't know. It was just really hard for me, and I really struggled with Piper, basically. Which is very disappointing because, like I said, she is my fave. I love Piper so much. But eventually I kind of just settle on a hair. And I think I just like went with a hair that was like a little bit longer because it kind of gave off that like not really trying but trying kind of vibes. I don't know why I'm sat here. Oh yeah, because Piper, I noticed frequently wore like necklaces and stuff, so I was trying to find like a good necklace that kind of had that like witchy vibe kind of thing, because she wore necklaces that kind of like were like, you know, witchy vibes, and like they had like gems and stuff on them. But Piper is also very family oriented because she's the only sister that during the actual show has children. So, you know, she becomes a mother. You know, she doesn't let motherhood absolutely define who she is as a person, but it definitely does impact her life a lot. And she's like more like chill as far as like clothes and stuff compared to her other sisters, because the other sisters, you know, they're wearing the halter tops, you know, wearing some stuff with like a little bit of cleavage and stuff like that, but Piper, she's not so much wearing that, and everything. She wears more like blouses and like little like 90s sweater vibes, you know what I'm saying, like where it's like you have like the little like shirt underneath and then like a little cardigan sweater kind of deal, and it's like the same color, kind of that vibe. She does that pretty frequently, but like she definitely wears lots of blouses and stuff. I tried to go with the blouse idea, but I couldn't really find a blouse that like had like the, I think I said like that had the like early 2000s vibes. I'm pretty sure earlier I just said 90s, even though it's not 90s. But anyways, Piper was a little bit of a struggle, and then like just finding like the wide leg jeans was a struggle, and I knew I wouldn't even be able to bother trying to find like low-rise jeans, so I just didn't try that at all. So, but this is kind of the look that I started off with Piper, but I eventually changed her top to something. I honestly don't remember what I changed. I think I do a sweater. I think I do like a cropped sweater for her, but I think like her outfit kind of works for her. Yeah, I think I settle on this sweater right here. And then shoes, Piper frequently wears like boots. Honestly, all of the sisters, like if you look at their outfits, a lot of the times they're always wearing heels. And I'm like, how are you fighting demons and doing all of these things while wearing heels? I don't know. But I gave Piper, because she is kind of like the family-oriented sister. Again, I don't know why I'm paused here, but she's the family-oriented sister, so I gave her the like family lineage aspiration, and then I gave her foodie and family-oriented. I don't remember what I gave her for her last trait. I gave her self-assured, yes. And then I just give her some likes, and then we go on to Phoebe. Phoebe is, like I said, the OG younger sister. Again, I don't know why I keep on being again, I apologize for the long pause. I tried to cut out a lot of the pauses, but apparently I did not do the best of job with that. But anyways, moving on to talking about Phoebe. Phoebe, yes. Phoebe is kind of like the OG problem child as well. She's the OG younger sibling and the OG problem child. Phoebe just gets into a lot of mess. AKA the biggest mess she gets in is with Cole. Honestly, when talking about the sisters, I feel like I'm just gonna give away like so many spoilers. I apologize for that. But Phoebe, I think, is best known for her relationship with Big Honcho Demon, Mr. Cole. It just causes a lot of problems. I think Phoebe just gets into a lot of mess too, because I'm pretty sure like at one point she was like possessed by like an evil person, probably on multiple occasions. Honestly, it's been a while since I've watched the show, so. But yeah, like I said, Phoebe, OG problem child, basically. She enters in the show like she hasn't really been around the family for a while, and she was off, in the city living her life, and then she comes back and is like, yep, I'm living here now, whatever, deal with it. Yes, and so like I said, her in Peru, you have the free child, free spirit kind of gal, and then you have the I'm very serious, very responsible kind of child. They butt heads quite frequently for a while. But Phoebe gets to not be the problem child after a while, after Peru dies, because then you have Paige, who is also ends up being a little bit of a problem child, just a tad bit there. But Phoebe, onto what she actually looks like, she also has like brown eyes, like brown hair, but hers is like a little bit lighter than Piper's, so that's what I kind of went with. And at times, honestly, I would say Phoebe and Paige were the hardest when it came to clothes and hair, because I think throughout the series, those two, their looks and styles change the most. Like at one point, Phoebe will have like super short hair. At one point, she does like a little bit of like a blondie, like brownish, like color to her hair. Sometimes it's curly, sometimes it's bone straight, sometimes it's like a bob, sometimes it's long and flowy. So it was really hard to figure out like what look I wanted to go with her with, because she kind of wears all of the looks. But I decided to kind of go with more of a curly look, because I felt like that was different from the other sisters, because I think Piper and Peru had very straight hair, so I figured we go for like a little bit more of a curly look, since Phoebe has done that in the past. But like I said, Phoebe is like a little bit more of a free spirit, so she does, experiment more with like heavier makeup, and she does wear like a lot more like, I don't want to say colorful clothes, but like in a way colorful clothes. She like experiments with prints, which I was kind of vibing with going like with a print top for a while, but I just couldn't find anything that kind of gave me that like 2000s vibes that I wanted. I just didn't think any of the patterns really suited that kind of vibe. I mean, maybe it's just me and I couldn't settle on one, but I just didn't think any of the stuff that I had kind of suited that look. So I do eventually go for like just like a plain color top. I go for that top right there, actually, just in that color, actually. And then again, I struggle with the pants, because they wear low rise wide leg pants then, and I just couldn't get it. So I go back and forth with the pants for a while, trying to find something, because Phoebe definitely, especially earlier on in this show, is very prone to showing her midriff area, which is fine, but I think a lot of people have gone through a phase of loving the crop tops, and Phoebe was going through that stage. But it was really hard because they don't have a lot of like nice fitting low rise pants in The Sims. But anyways, for Phoebe was like the first one that was like super interested in learning about her witchy powers. She was really into it. So I believe I gave her the same aspiration as Peru. But she is very creative, and she does eventually become like a columnist, writer person and everything. So I kind of gave her those kind of vibe traits. And then we're on to our last sister, who is Paige Matthews. Like I said, Paige is the youngest sister. She's also technically the other sister's half sister. They have different dads, and Paige is a half white lighter witch gal. And Paige, she just like really struggles, for one, because she's not used to having sisters, because she grew up in the foster care system, you know, because she didn't have parents for a while there. And then she just struggles because, you know, stuff happens. I won't spoil everything for you, but stuff happens with Paige, and it makes her really struggle with her powers because she feels a little guilty. That's all I'll say about that. But Paige, again, is kind of similar to Phoebe, where she's more of a free spirit. She likes to experiment with hair styles, colors, fashion looks. Paige has like tons of different hair colors. She has dark hair. She has bleach blonde hair. She has red hair. I kind of went with the red hair vibes just to give us something different, since like all the sisters are like brunettes. And I honestly, when I think of Paige, I think of her with the red hair. I don't know why. And I was going to go for like a curly look with her as well, but I just couldn't find anything that like suited her and had that like reddish tone. I ended up settling on this one, even though I wished it was like a little bit more of that like orangey red that Paige has in the show, but I just liked the style of her hair. I think that was like very Paige-esque, but that's what I went with. And as far as her style, again, like I said with Phoebe, it changes so much throughout the show. It was really hard to pinpoint, but there's one iconic like look that she wears that's kind of like this like top, like tank top kind of vibe with suspenders, and I think she's technically wearing like pants with it, so that's kind of the vibe that I went with. And I struggled with that for a little bit because I did try and like do like a blousey thing, and she wears a lot of like dark pants, like black pants, but I couldn't figure that out, so it was a struggle for me a little bit. And I was gonna try and like do like a skirt situation with one of the sisters, but I just didn't end up doing that. I tried it with Paige, but I just didn't end up liking it. But like I said, I go with the like little overall look eventually. At some point we'll see, because we're paused here, but that's okay. We continue to, yes, this is the top that this is the bottoms that I end up, and then I struggle with finding the top, but then I finally settle on a tank top. We will see eventually here, because the top that she wears in the show is like, kind of has like a button-up vibes, but then it's like a tank top at the same time, so I just settle on doing a tank top, and that's what we go with. But as far as Paige, she takes a little bit of time to get into her witchiness, but she eventually does, and she actually ends up being like basically revolving her whole like career around being a witch. I think she ends up teaching at the like magic school, and then she like helps other witches kind of like be okay with their powers and whatnot. And that's kind of Paige's storyline a little bit there. You know, we stay in Paige 2. I decided to try and give at least one of the sisters like each one of the realm of magic traits, or aspirations, and so I gave Paige the like little potion one, even though Piper actually does more potions out of all of the sisters, but you know, it is what it is. Again, we're paused here. I gave Paige the loner trait just because, like I said, she wasn't used to having sisters, so it takes her a while to get like adjusted with that. And she actually butts heads a lot with Piper, because now Piper's the older sister and she's the younger sister, so it's kind of like the same thing with Peru and Phoebe. You know, love it. And then Paige, in her room, at least, it shows that she's really into painting. I honestly don't remember her being into painting or anything in the show, but apparently her room was filled with paintings and stuff like that. And I also gave her the hot-headed trait just because she's supposed to be like pretty stubborn and like, you know. I just went back and decided to try and recreate the sisters without using CC. So this is kind of what I'm showing you, like a not side by side, but like a comparison of like what I created with the CC and then what I created without the CC for each sister. So that's what you're seeing here. But we are getting towards the end of this video, guys, so I'm going to just go ahead and ask you all, if you liked this video, you can go ahead and make a little comment down below. You can comment about the show if you liked the show. Like, you can comment who's your favorite sister, if you like the show, or who's your favorite character in general. If you didn't like, if one of the sisters wasn't your favorite character, like any character, who's your favorite. And also you can go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, a good old like, and you can also subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye guys.